Hello, it's Jane Lelean here from the Institute of Dental Business, and I'd like to share with you another one of my short webinars. Today what we'd like to look at is routine, because your future success is in your routine. And I am certain that you will look back on this time and realise that this time that I'm choosing to call Tools Down, Skills Up is the most amazing opportunity that you have ever had. Never will you ever have a situation where you've had time that you can make sure that you're investing in yourself and your business to improve it. Most of the time, the clients that I work with say, "Oh, I'm just so busy, I haven't got time to do." Now, the one thing you do have is time to do. So let's look at these slides. So one thing is for certain, that your future needs attention today. The longer and longer you put things off, the less and less secure your future is going to be. A bit like pensions. So the younger you are when you invest in the pension, probably you'll find the more secure it is. But anyway, I'm not here as an IFA to talk about that. I'm just talking in principles that your future needs attention today. And what we're going to look at is the routine. Everybody's talking about routines at the moment and the importance of having a routine. And what I'd like to explore with you today is what we actually mean by a routine. So for many of you that have already seen some of my webinars, you'll realise that actually I love to have an acronym that I can hang this on to make it easy for you to remember. So our fast R in routine is that I want you to rise in the morning as you would do normally. Shower and dress as if you were going to work. So rise and sleep as normal. Get up as if you were going to work. And that probably means that you also need to get dressed, dress as if you were going to work. And ideally, if you've got the space in your house, have a dedicated workspace that becomes your workplace. Now, for some of you, I realise that you don't have the luxury of maybe an outside office or a spare study or a room that you can use, and you'll be working on maybe the kitchen or the dining room table. But in which case, it's really useful for you to make sure that that's a dedicated workspace and maybe putting it away in the evening, opening it up in the morning, so that work is work and home is home. It's also really useful to make sure that you keep your work hours. So if you normally started seeing patients at 8 o'clock in the morning and work through till 5 o'clock, make sure that they are the hours that you are keeping now that you are not at work. And this will apply to your team as well. So for some of you, I know that you've got NHS contracts and at the moment your team can't go into work, but they are being paid, and many of you have got furloughed team members. The furloughed team members are different because they can't work for you. But for those of you who've got NHS contracts and your team members are working, it's really important that you share this video with them and help them realise that actually, yes, they are being paid and they need to be keeping work hours so that they can make sure that they are still continuing to do stuff that needs to be done. So our O is about opportunities. I know for many of you at the moment, it is going to seem like doom and gloom, and it's going to feel like everything is just overwhelming and that you won't be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But actually in this, there are opportunities. Please don't let those opportunities just be for the likes of Tesco's and Sainsbury's and Disney, who are making huge amounts of money out of the fact that people are now shopping online, people are at home, watching the TV, and these people are making money. They are making use of the opportunity. And you will have opportunities too. So I'd like you to think about every single day, where are the opportunities? Where and who can you help? What is it that your patients might need to know at the moment? Can you be developing some videos and some information sheets that you're sharing online with them so that you can help them prevent decay rather than sitting around and eating chocolate and drinking fizzy drinks and deteriorating their dental health? What can you do to build the relationships with your patients and improve their dental health? So what is possible for you today? You've got so much time. You've got access to the internet and other resources. What is possible today that if you were at work wouldn't be possible? What can you do that you otherwise couldn't do? And how can you prepare for when you return to work? So it really is my wish that in this period of tools down, skills up, that by the time you do get back to work in however long that will be, that you and your team are in a stronger, healthier, more united place than you were when you closed the doors. What are the opportunities for you to have meetings online to develop the team, to be thinking about the culture, the values? What is it you can do to look at the finances so that you've got a really robust financial situation? What about your team organization, your roles? What it is about your marketing, your conversations with your patients, your sales and your best choices options? What about your skills as a leader? What can you do so that you can prepare that by the time you go back, you're stronger than you were before? So what can you learn? What can you improve? What can you practice? What can you develop? So I'd like you to utilize daily and weekly goals. So each morning, with the first thing when you're sitting down, thinking about what is your to-do list so you can go through and tick it off. What do you want to achieve this week? So what's on your goal list? And how are you going to manage accountability? Do you need other members of your team to hold you accountable? Are you holding your team members accountable for what they're doing? Do you need to make use of somebody such as myself, an outside third person? And much as what we do as coaches is hold our clients accountable for what they're doing. And then I'd like you to make a timetable. Never ceases to amaze me how much young students get done, how many subjects they learn because they've got a timetable, whether it's broken down into 30 or 40-minute blocks in the day. And they move from subject to subject to subject. If you had a timetable, because our T is about timetabling, if you were going to timetable across a week, what subjects would be included? Is it about values? Is it about culture? Is it about time organisation? The teamwork, the finances, communication, marketing, leadership, systems, protocol, work-life balance. What are your subjects that you need to build into your timetable? So what will your timetable look like? Where will you display your timetable? So who are you going to share it with? And then our I comes for initiating real conversations. Now don't get me wrong, there's a great place for Facebook and some of these online platforms. And what I recognise is there's an awful lot of people that are talking at one another. There isn't any real dialogue. So what I'd like you to really do is initiate real conversations. Whether you're doing it on online platforms such as Zoom, Skype, GoToMeeting, there's a plethora of them. Whether you're using FaceTime, so that you can actually see the people you're talking to, or you're going back old school and just using a telephone, albeit a mobile phone. What I'd really encourage you to do is initiate a real conversation which is backwards and forwards, that you can hear the other person's tone, that you can listen to what is being said without being spoken. And I'd like you to think about who would like to hear from you? So who is it in your family and friend network? Maybe it's some of your patients. Maybe it's your suppliers. Maybe it's customers. Who do you think would like to hear from you? Who would you like to hear from? Rather than waiting for them to ring, why don't you pick up the telephone and initiate that conversation? Who can you help? But also, who can help you? Please pick up the phone and have a real conversation rather than listening to all the noise that's going on social media. Turn it down and build real relationships. And then our N is about nurture. How can you physically nurture yourself? We all know we've travelled on planes and we get told to put our own oxygen mask on first before we put on somebody else's. And this is really, really important at this time. Because if you're going to be able to look after your friends, your family, your team, your patients, you need to make sure that you're looking after yourself. So think about how can you nurture yourself physically? And that's going to be thinking about whether you're exercising, how you're exercising, when you're going out, whether you're exercising in nature, when you're not exercising in nature, what are you doing at home? Are you joining in with the Joe Wicks revolution, or are you doing some yoga? What are you doing to look after your nutrition and hydration? Or have you already resorted to lunchtime drinking of alcohol? Look after yourself physically. How are you going to look after yourself mentally? Are you spending time in quiet time, reading, maybe in meditation, using some online apps such as Headspace or Calm? It might be that you've gone back to your faith and spending time in prayer or reading your religious text. How are you going to look after yourself mentally and spiritually? And also, when you're able to look after yourself, how can you then nurture others? And then our final E in our routine is about enlisting expertise. Because there are lots of people out there that can help you at the moment. So much of my time at the moment is being spent, I've been offering free calls to people, and much of it is about helping them deal with their mindset. Yes, I've been helping them plan how to work with their team, but what we really recognise at the moment is that there's very little that you can do about the situation, and you've got to recognise what's within your control and what's not within your control. And people have been ringing me that are paralysed by anxiety, grief, worry. And what we're able to do is help them with how they're processing this information internally. And when we're changing not what they're thinking about, but how they're thinking, the structure of their thoughts, then we're able to give them much more space and help them to be much more resourceful. So these are things that you weren't taught at dental school. You probably weren't taught at school at all. And unless you've done some NLP training or training as a therapist, you probably don't know how to do that. And work would be maybe very useful for you at the moment to work with a therapist who can help you with the emotional response that you've got to this situation. So it could be emotionally that you need some support. It could be physically helping. So I've been having a conversation with a client that they'd really like to do some work with the values and the culture of their practices. And because of the internet and different platforms, we're able to run team meetings remotely. So we can have all of your team in different venues still doing the same interactive workshop tools that we would be doing if we were running face-to-face. So I'd like to invite you to enlist expertise. So who can help you with your mindset? What and where do you need help? Who can help you plan? And who can help you remotely with your team? So I'd like you to create an action plan. So you need to plan your action and then action your plan. Because there's a step that moves from I won't do it, I can't do it, I want to do it, how do I do it, I'll try to do it, I can do it, I will do it, and yes, I have done it. So by the time you go back to work, I'd love you to be able to say, yes, we have done it. We are more cohesive as a team than when we broke up. I am a better leader than I was when I broke up. But my practice is in a stronger position, better prepared than when we broke up. Because if you need some help, remember that we are here. That we're offering free calls for any of you that need support. The number is on the bottom of the screen, 07 989 757 884. That number again, 07 989 757 884. Remember, your future needs your attention today. So, thank you for participating, and I look forward to you joining another one of my webinars soon. Bye for now.